Hi, this is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and this is your dressmaker, all spiffed up and ready to come home. And this is the final test before we pack her up to ship her out to you. And in this test, we're going to go over the basic operation of the machine. And if you've come here from somewhere else on the internet, you found a link or something, this is a Class 15 machine made in Japan. If you have a machine that looks like this, a straight stitch, it only has one control lever, and the tension assembly is on the faceplate like this, then your machine is a Class 15, and operation, the threading, the bobbin winding will be very, very similar to this. So we're going to start by winding a bobbin. Your bobbin case is down here below the slide plate. There's a latch on the bobbin case that if you pull it out, you can hold it. And as long as you're holding the latch, your bobbin stays in the bobbin case, so you won't drop it while you're trying to put it in. But if you let go of the latch, you can drop it out. And let's see, quite a bit of thread on there, but we'll take this off so we can wind the bobbin. Put the thread spool on the spool pin. Go through this thread guide notch at the top of your faceplate, down and right directly in between the two convex plates of the tension assembly, all the way back to the top, and then go around this big thread guide at the top. From there, go down and catch this little thin check spring, which is on your tension assembly. And if you have it right, when you pull up on it, you'll see the spring move. From there, you go through the take-up lever from back to front, down and catch the thread guide on the faceplate, the thread guide on the needle clamp. Oh shoot, I've done it again. Okay, I basically have been showing you how to thread the machine instead of how to wind the bobbin. So we'll complete this and then we'll go on to bobbin winding. To wind the bobbin, you put a spool on the spool pin, go into the notch in the top of the faceplate on the front of the machine, down to the thread tension for the bobbin winder, and up to the bobbin winder. It's easier to do this next step before you put the bobbin on the spindle. You want to put the thread through one of these holes in the outside of the bobbin, from the inside to the out, and then give it several wraps around the bobbin to hold the thread in place while you're winding. And since the thread's going to come up over the top of the bobbin, we'll turn it this way. Let's see, is there a... Yeah, there's a little notch in the side of your bobbin and a corresponding pin on the back of the bobbin winder. It's like a keeper. It keeps the bobbin in place. Drop the release finger, and it sits down into the bobbin, and as your bobbin fills, when it gets full, it'll push this lever up to the point where it pops loose and stops winding, so you don't get a big tangle of thread. In the center of your hand wheel is a chrome knob, which is your clutch knob. You want to turn that towards you a quarter of a turn. You'll feel it when you hit the stop there. Now your hand wheel can spin without making the machine cycle, and the hand wheel spins the bobbin winder. Yeah, push it down, make sure that your rubber tire is against the hand wheel. And we're ready to wind the bobbin. Ah, okay. That's your bobbin winder tire. I'll put a new one on. That was our problem. So, but that's enough thread for our test. When you put your bobbin into the bobbin case, you want to make sure that your thread is coming off of the top of the bobbin in this direction. It's important. Then go into this little slot in the side of the bobbin case and under that flat leaf spring of the tension device until it clicks into place. Then you'll feel a little bit of drag on your thread when you pull it. Hold that latch. Make sure that the finger of the bobbin case is pointing up. And slide that right onto the spindle of the hook. Make sure it's all the way in, nice and snug so it doesn't drop out. Now we'll thread the machine. So spool on the spool pin, go into the thread guide on the top of the faceplate there on the back, directly into your tension discs all the way back around to the top, around big thread guide, come down and catch the check spring. There we go. This one's neat. It's got a notch in the take-up lever so you don't have to poke the thread through the hole. Just push it right in. Down to the thread guide on the faceplate, thread guide on the needle clamp, and through the needle from left to right towards the center of the machine. Through the eye of the needle. Make sure you've got your thread guide. Make sure you're not wrapped around anything you shouldn't be. Now, holding your needle thread, you're going to turn the hand wheel one full cycle towards you. And the needle will take the thread down, wrap it around the bobbin, and bring up your lower thread. And something I did not mention, after you wind your bobbin, remember to tighten your clutch knob in the center of your hand wheel so that your hand wheel and the rest of the machine are, again, working together. There we go, and there's our bottom thread. Put your thread between the toes of the presser foot towards the back of the machine, and we're ready to sew. We're going to sew some couple layers of denim. Put it under the presser foot, and with the lever on the back, lower the presser foot onto the fabric. Holding the thread for the first couple of stitches. There we go. Oh, and this one taps the tabletop, but once you put it back into your cabinet, that won't be a problem. This machine either needs to be in a base or in a cabinet. This control here is your stitch length, and you'll see there's a big 0 right here in the middle, and at that point the fabric doesn't move anywhere. The needle goes up and down, but the fabric stays in place. If you go down from 0, as you go down, your stitches get longer and longer and longer and longer and longer until your longest stitches are all the way at the bottom. From 0 going up, your stitches get longer and longer and longer, but in reverse. So we're going to go down from 0 to, let's see, yeah, well, this is your lock, which locks the stitch length in place, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But go down about maybe 1/5 of the way, 1/5 to 1/4 of the way, and that's about ballpark for sewing regular fabric. You may want, for heavier fabric, you may want a little longer stitch length. For lighter fabric, you may want a little less, but basically, if this were marked like most machines are, this would be about 2 on a scale of 1 to 5. Okay, here we go. So again, we held the threads for the first couple of stitches, but now they're in place. And I'll tip this up a little bit so it doesn't tap on the table. And here we go. Here's my plastic traveling table, kind of bouncy. We're going to go for a little longer stitch now. You see the fabric moves faster because the stitches are longer. Reverse. Ooh, forward. Ooh. All right. Let's see. If you want your stitches to be exactly the same length in reverse as in forward, you can use this lock here and loosen the thumb screw and slide it up until it makes contact with the lever here. Then screw it down. And now when you go into reverse, your stitches will be the same length in reverse as in forward. If you want to do a longer stitch, loosen that. Bring the lever down a little. Bring the knob up until it contacts the lever. Tighten it. Now your stitches are the same length, forward and reverse, just a little longer now. But we're going to leave it wide open so you have a full range. This little knob is an adjustment for your bobbin winder, and it's not something that you'll usually use, but if your bobbin winder is not spinning like it should and it's not making good contact with the hand wheel, then you may want to tighten it down just a little bit. But ordinarily you just leave it alone unless there's a problem. This is your tension assembly. Clockwise is more tension, counterclockwise is less tension. And just watch your fabric. You'll be able to tell if the thread's too tight and it's puckering the fabric up, or if it's loose and loopy on the bottom, then you don't have enough for tension and you have to turn it up just a little bit. But basically, you just adjust it until the stitches look about the same on the top as they do on the bottom. This is your feed drop. If you want to do some embroidery or darning or some machine embroidery, turn this knob and it drops the teeth of the feed dogs so they no longer move the fabric, and you're in control. Tap, tap, tap. Your light right there. We put a cool chrome light on there. Your other one was busted beyond repair. I think that's about it. It's a basic machine, not a whole lot of controls to it, but it's a good machine. It's strong, and it'll sew just about anything. They used to make wedding dresses and three-piece suits on these machines back before they invented anything fancier. Anyway, she's sewing great. She needs a new bobbin winder tire, but I'll put that on there before I send her out. And again, if you come here from somewhere else, we are Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and we're on Stagecoach Road out here in the Coast Range of Oregon. So we are Stagecoach Road Sewing.com. And if you come out to our website, we've been doing this for 20 some years, and we've restored well over 1,000 machines. And we've got pictures of hundreds of them, literally hundreds and hundreds of beautiful restored machines that you can look at from all different angles, and a little blurb about each one. And at the top of the page, there are usually a few machines that are available for you to take home to your sewing room. So come on over. We are Stagecoach Road Sewing.com, and we'll see you there.